Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions of the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, news, sports, lifestyle, music, everything really, depending on the guest, we really talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guests from a lot of really cool TV shows and movies. You'll recognize her from shows like The Expanse and Shadowhunters, and most recently, For the Record, which is on CBC Gem. Anna Hopkins is with us. Anna, welcome to Popternative.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No problem. I mean, we'll get into For the Record because it is a really cool show, an anthology series all about music. We love music here at Popternative. For you as kind of a storyteller and an actor, when did that all start for you? When did you decide that's something you want to do?
Oh, it's always been there for sure. When I was a kid, I was a dancer, so that's kind of how it all started. And then in high school, I got into theater. Through high school, I then found an agent, and so it all kind of just continued. I studied cinema communications in school and communications at Concordia. So I've always been writing, and it all just kind of mixes up together. And now I guess that's who I am.
No, absolutely. You've been working on a lot of really cool projects, but this project, For the Record, seems to be a very exciting project because it's an anthology series. One, it's Canadian, it's on CBC Gem, but it's really cool how they really incorporate like a lot of music that's a lot of like it's very important to a lot of people. Talk a little bit about kind of how that project came to be and what people can expect with For the Record.
Yeah, so we shot that last year. It feels like it's been 40 years ago. I'm like, yeah, that was 5 years ago. No, it was just last year. And it was a very quick sort of turnaround of like, all right, we've got this offer and now you're on set. And so I was kind of learning about the larger picture of the show as I was doing it. And the access to the music was one of the coolest parts of this project because if you know how music rights work, especially in film, you're spending your whole budget to get one song. So I was really taken aback that we had access to all of these iconic artists, and I just thought that was so exciting and really, really cool and really rare. So when you tune to the show, you're going to be connecting with these stories through music that you love. And so I think that's a really fun aspect to the show.
Absolutely. And people could watch in Canada on CBC Gem, which is, I mean, CBC is kind of joining the streaming game right now, which is exciting too.
Totally. Yeah, they have great stuff and it's only getting better. So, and this is an anthology. It's also short form. So it's really, really nice to, just kind of pop in and watch, a 10-minute episode and really that you dive really deep in these 10 minutes, every one of them. So it's a really fun watch.
But that was my next question, Anna. I mean, what was your kind of familiarity with the anthology kind of format and genre? Have you worked in that genre before? Were you a fan of kind of anthology series? What was kind of your draw towards anthology type content?
I've never done it before. I'm trying to think like if I watch, I don't even know if I've watched much of anything within this genre. I think it's nice as an actor to feel like you are contributing something to a larger story.
Absolutely.
So you can kind of be a lead in a portion of it, but you're not carrying the whole project on your shoulders. It's a real collaboration with the writers and the directors and the actors. So it feels a little bit more like a traveling like theater group or something where you're all really contributing equally to something, and then to be able to see it all come together was really, really fun. It's a beautiful show.
No, absolutely. It's one of those things too where you said like the short form, and there's a lot of like, because I find like there's a lot of like web series that are short form, and I feel like a lot of people kind of try to test the waters with content on a web series, and it's like a 10-minute kind of episode. But I think kind of the goal too is to maybe make it into like something that could fit like TV, right? Like you start off like a web series. Have you ever thought about that or noticed that about the web series, kind of as like the stepping stone content a little bit, Anna?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's a really it's an accessible way for emerging filmmakers
Mhm.
and writers to create really really high caliber stuff, and essentially it all comes down to money and budget, and so you're able to do this on a smaller scale and still make it look, I mean, for the looks and feels like, it could be the production value of a half hour or of a 1 hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so it's a really nice platform to show off the caliber of the talent, and not it's really hard to get greenlit when you're, maybe not the biggest showrunner in the country. So I think, yeah, the web series format is a beautiful way for, it's just more accessible, I think.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of TV shows out there. There's a lot of TV shows that have incredible fan bases. You had an opportunity to work on two of those that come to mind that I kind of see based on social media and everything, just like wild fan bases. I'm talking about The Expanse, I'm talking about Shadowhunters. Both those fan bases just are kind of like they're around, they're always there. You can't kind of escape it. It's insane. Talk a little bit
Yeah.
about first The Expanse, the Shadowhunters, but it's really cool that you've been able to kind of work on two shows that have such massive fan bases, Anna.
Yeah, it's another world. Like, I I started on both of those shows actually right around the same time.
Yep.
And I was entering those shows a couple of seasons in. So these fan bases were already established. And, you always are concerned about if you will be accepted by the fan base, because you know, when I worked on Arrow, for instance, they also, Arrow fandom is huge, and there was a lot of like, a lot of people didn't like my character because I was, breaking up olicity,
Yes.
as they call it. So, and so I did have it. Now, obviously, they were really, generally quite nice with
Yeah, I'm
me, the
wondering what
fans,
those
but
direct messages were like. Why did you do that? Like,
people just didn't like, they were like, we like you as a person, but like we hate you. So, that's always, it's always a hard, like, you're like, okay, I'm sorry, it's just, I had to do it.
yeah, I know that's really, but I just find like The Expanse, like the one thing that kind of drew me to that show because I love that show. I mean, how it looks. Like, I mean, it's like a space show that just like it's like eye candy. You know what I mean? It's kind of why I
Yeah,
follow NASA on Instagram because I just love this stuff.
yeah.
And like The Expanse, I feel like goes hand in hand with that.
Oh, absolutely. The Expanse, like, looks like what it would look like if we colonized space. Like,
Yeah.
they literally don't fictionalize anything other than the storylines.
Which is crazy. What's that experience working on a show like that? I mean, is it one of those things where, when you go on a show like that, do you even have time to think about it? Like, wow, I'm working on a really cool space epic right now. Like, what's that kind of like?
When you kind of break it down, like, all your jobs, that you're presented with sort of the same things, in terms of your work process. You're waking up in the morning, you have your coffee, you're working on your lines. It's only really when you see the finished product that you realize the scope of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Obviously with the Expanse, the sets give away a little bit that, okay, this is like a really big deal.
Yep.
But for the actors, at the end of the day, you're doing a scene with another actor, and it's always that type of work that you're focusing on. But yeah, seeing the final product, which I just watched the first 3 episodes of season 5, it's like, oh damn, this is like, this is crazy shit. But you don't get to
Absolutely.
really feel that until VFX comes in and producers and all the work that goes into it after.
Absolutely. One kind of outcome or kind of effect of you being on shows like The Expanse, Shadowhunters, is storytellers like yourself and develop very big and very valuable and very supportive fan bases on social media on Instagram. You do have a lot of followers on your Instagram. A lot of them come from people that watch Expanse and Arrow and Shadowhunters. Have you ever thought about the fact that, you have a lot of followers, and this goes for a lot of people. You're in the same boat as you. I mean, there's a responsibility, obviously, that comes with what you kind of post out at post with that kind of following and being under the microscope a lot. Have you ever thought about that there's like a responsibility, Anna?
Yeah, I think that the one thing that I feel like I want to uphold is a sense of authenticity, or just real. I just want to be as sort of transparent and real as I can. I think, especially because my foray into having a lot of followers came from Shadowhunters, and it's a younger demographic. It's majority women, very young women. And, I think that Instagram can be a really tough place for perception of what is real and what is not. And so, yeah, I'm always going through like, all right, here's this really cool image of me in the Expanse, and then it's like I'll do an Instagram live where I look like this, and my dog is with me, and I still pay rent, and I looking for the next job, and so trying to keep that balance of what's real and what's not, I think.
Absolutely. I want to do something, a little segment I do, because you've worked on so many cool shows, and there's so many, and I'm gonna bring up a little bit of them, but like I'm gonna start For the Record. I want you just to I'm gonna call this kind of like a tour of Anna Hopkins. Like I'm just gonna say like a show you worked on, and then you're just gonna tell me something about it, about how it was fun playing that character, or about shooting it, or something about that. You know what I mean? So we'll start. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna be like rapid fire, super quick. Like a great time where you shot it or something like that. You know what I mean? So For the Record.
Okay.
For the Record is first.
For the Record, I would say shooting in Yorkville during the holidays was so pretty. I love Christmas decorations. Loved that.
Arrow.
Arrow, getting to go to Vancouver to work, so fun. Love Stephen Amell, such a good guy. Almost came back for the finale. They asked for my availability, but it never happened. Samantha could have been there, you guys.
Could have. Bad Blood.
Bad Blood.
Montreal.
Yeah, so fun playing like true evil, working with John Nellis on the dialect so much, and just really playing a gangster was the best thing ever.
Shadowhunters.
Shadowhunters, constantly getting my nails done. Like I got these long, all year long nails, all black. They were my weapons. People in life thought I was hilarious. I would wear like sweatsuits and go outside and have these long nails. People would look at me really weird, but it was my favorite part of the costume.
And last, but of course not least, The Expanse.
The Expanse, some of my favorite stuff is doing the 0G. So I got to be spaced in season 3, and this season I got to do a whole sequence 0G, and that is like the true space sci-fi experience as an actor. Some of the best stuff I've ever done, for sure.
Absolutely. No, that was great. No, I mean, it's because like that's kind of the best thing, because it's like sometimes guests like yourself is kind of difficult for the because there's so much to talk about. You want to make sure you kind of fit everything in. So I thought about this kind of segment of like tour of Anna Hopkins, where it's just kind of like quick, and we basically touched on everything. So the Shadowhunter fans can check this out. The Expanse fans, the Bad Blood fans can check this
Bad
out.
Blood, yeah.
Absolutely.
Everything you guys want.
Yeah, absolutely. Anna, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed this.
My pleasure. Yeah, me too.
So For the Record could be watched on CBC Gem, and it's just a fun, kind of light, kind of cool thing to watch over the holidays with your family. And it's just kind of, if you love music, it's definitely for you as well.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
Absolutely. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Instagram and Twitter. Do I know what my handles are?
Just put like Anna Hopkins. I think one of them is like Banana Hopkins or something.
Yeah, I think they're both Anna Banana something.
Yeah.
With underscores. But yeah, you can find me. Just type in my name.
Amazing. Well, seriously, again, congrats on, For the Record. Congrats on all the success you've had in all your shows. And I hope it just continues to keep getting bigger and bigger, better for Anna Hopkins. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No problem. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. You can check Anna Hopkins in the Anthology series For the Record, which is on CBC Gem. Until next time, this is Anna Hopkins and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.